It is a felony to impersonate a police officer, yet every so often, as you just saw, we catch someone hiding behind a fake badge. So how do you tell the difference between a real cop and a fake one? In this special report, Wale Aliu shows us what you need to do if you are stopped or approached by a police officer.
I was like, granny, these ain't no police officers. And by the time I said that, they were already pulling off.
Dayton police still have not tracked down the two men who robbed 86-year-old Stella Wallace's home almost a year and a half ago.
He was dressed in a black suit with pins, white stripes.
Wallace says at first she didn't let these two men in, but then they showed up with a search warrant, flashed a badge, and told her she'd be arrested if she didn't let them in.
Who can say what a police officer looked like?
Her neighbor Fred Stroud showed up at the perfect time.
Freddie, they said that somebody robbed a bank downtown, and they want to check my house, and that just sounded like mad shady to me.
The men got away with a couple $100 and a pistol, and this is one of many recent stories of fake police officers committing crimes against people. So what are your rights when an officer comes up to you?
There's no law preventing you from recording your encounter with a police officer.
Criminal attorney Jason Cavender says officers know there are imposters out there, so you have the right to play detective as well. First, check to see what they have on them. Most officers carry items like a utility belt, a name tag, and radio.
If these things are missing, again, something else to trigger your suspicion. And never ever hesitate to request identification from an officer. If someone becomes angry or aggressive, this is definitely a red flag.
If it's a detective, they may be in plain clothes, but they'll still have a badge with them. They will have their identification with them. We're not going to get upset if you ask for backup identification or if you make a phone call before you speak with us.
If it is an imposter, the minute you call 911, chances are they're going to tuck tail and run. If it's a legitimate police officer, they'll stand there.
Also, don't just glance at the identification, take a good hard look at it.
It should be not only a badge, it should also be a photo identification linking them to that agency. Be wary of badges or identifications with generic logos such as an eagle or a flag.
Usually what happens in these cases is they are somebody that have a jacket or something that just says police on them or security guard. Those are fairly available on the open market and are not illegal by themselves to own. It is illegal to use them to identify yourself as a police officer.
And yet people still do it.
I think that it's sad that people don't, care about nobody no more, that you'll rob a defenseless 90-year-old lady. I would just like to see him get caught.
In Dayton, Wale Aliu, ABC 22 News.
Now, a couple of things you should check for in Ohio. Officers must have a marked car. The license plate will also be marked. Also check to see the condition of the vehicle. Imposters often buy older, decommissioned police cars. And at the end of the day, if you don't feel safe, turn on your hazard lights, slow down, and don't pull over until you get to a well-lit, populated area. You may have to explain yourself to the real officer, but it's definitely better safe than sorry. And we've posted these tips and more on our website. Check them out, abc22now.com.